What's up, creeps? It is the end of 2025. So you know what time it is? It's time for our top horror movies of the year. And this year we're going to be doing top 10. I hope you're all excited for this shit because I know we're fucking excited. It's been a great year for the genre, much like the last few years, and we're going to dig into that on this brand new Epic Film Guys episode. I'm Justin.
I'm Jeremy.
I'm B-Ratty.
And we're here to talk about the year in horror. It's honestly probably my favorite thing to do on the show. Every year wrapping stuff up on top of our following up with an episode of our top anticipated of the following year, which we'll be doing here shortly. You'll be seeing that released in the next few weeks. But I don't know, guys. I don't know. Let's start with you, Jeremy. As a whole, how do you feel about the year in horror for 2025?
I actually feel like it was pretty strong. You know, past couple years I haven't been super impressed. I think I've mentioned that a few times on the show. And this year, man, was a year of like sneaky bangers for me. Like stuff that I wasn't even like hyper aware of or like anticipating. And stuff that a lot of it that I saw blind, or, you know, going into a blind, not knowing anything about them, that just blew me away. And I felt like it was a really strong year for the genre for sure.
B-Ratty, what you think?
Yeah, I mean, I was pleasantly surprised with how positive I was on the year as a whole with horror. I think that the things that were on my radar were mostly like the back half of the year, summer on. But like Jeremy, there were a couple of things that popped up throughout the first half of the year where I was like, oh wow, like I wasn't expecting this, or just heard from word of mouth that something new had popped up. So I mean, you all know, same with Jeremy, the last 2 or 3 years for me, I've been kind of hating on the horror that's been put out. But I do think that this year was very, very strong, and I'm hopeful with what 2026 is going to look like based on what we've heard so far. But this was a great year.
I would have to concur with you on that. Totally agree. And it's funny because leading up to us sitting down to do this episode, I looked at my top anticipated of 2025 list that we did, and almost all of those movies are on my top list of the year. So, I mean, I guess I lucked out. Almost everything I looked forward to, almost everything. I Know What You Did Last Summer reboot / requel, notwithstanding, that was on the list too. Probably won't even mention that again ever for the rest of my life, unless asked. I mean, if you want me to join a retrospective, please email us at.
Right.
But anyways, who knows? Ryan C. Showers might be like, let's talk about it in 3 years. But overall, I feel like it's been extremely strong. A lot of original horror, which is interesting to see that at least in my top 5. I'd say 95% of it is all like original horror, not remakes, not reboots, not sequels or anything of the sort. It's really just strong horror from amazing directors that are elevating the genre to another level. So I think it's time to dig right into these lists. We're going to do 10 of these motherfuckers. We're going to start with the youngest of the show. B-Ratty, go ahead with your number 10 of 2025.
Shoot, I know I probably said this every year, but it sounds like when I do these lists, I'm like, man, this year has been a long fucking year. Like, well, some of these movies that I was like, man, all right, on this list, like, are we sure this was 2025? And sure enough, but so, you know, in that vein, I'm throwing it back to the beginning of 2025 with my number 10 from director Josh Rubin, co-written by Christopher Landon, Philip Murphy, Michael Kennedy, Hard Eyes. This was a huge surprise for me. I didn't even know that that's what we were going to see. I thought we were going to see that movie with what's his name from The Goonies, and
you thought it was Love Hurts.
Yeah, I thought it was Love Hurts.
John Wick ripoff movie. Yeah,
we got there, and I was like, I don't know what we're even seeing. It
seemed like you were the only one that didn't know what movie we were seeing. Your wife knew what movie we were seeing. My wife knew what movie we were seeing.
But I loved it. I thought that it started off the year strong in around Valentine's Day in February. I think that Mason Gooding is showing his horror chops, branching out from Scream a little bit, doing, this was more of like a rom-com slasher.
Absolutely.
But when it does kick in with the slasher aspects, man, it's fucking good. There's gore, there's tension, there's suspense. Like, this is really just a fun popcorn flick. But it also introduced a character that could have become a franchise killer.
I love how you say could have, because you are correct in saying could have.
Yes, could have, and I'm really glad that they're not doing that. But it was nice and refreshing to get the characters we got, the chemistry they had, which was insane between Mason Gooding and Olivia Holt. And even though the ending wasn't quite where I needed it to be, it was still a really fun time. So it's got to be on my list. Hard Eyes, number 10.
Absolutely, dude. Great fucking pick there. J-Dog, what's your number 10, man?
Number 10 was a movie that I've been anticipating for years. From the moment that I heard about it, I'm like, oh man, it's like somebody went into my brain and picked random stuff that I love and have tied them together. Like the movie Primitive War, right? Which is,
Ooh.
imagine the Vietnam War in 1968, but a time portal has opened up in Vietnam and Jurassic dinosaurs have come through. So it's like people trying to survive in the Vietnam War, as well as dinosaurs attacking and killing them. I've anticipated this movie for years, so when it finally came out, and it got a limited theatrical release, but I was like, I am seeing this motherfucker on the big screen. Like, I have to. And me and my buddy Chris went, and dude, I was initially I was like, look, because this is like a lower budget thing, I don't think we're gonna get tons of dinosaur stuff. I just hope the dinosaur stuff we get looks good.
Right.
And boy, was I wrong. This movie is filled nonstop with dinosaur action, and the CGI was just as good as the newest Jurassic World movie. Like, I feel like it was, for the most part, just as good. And the dinosaurs were brutal. They were scary. There's a lot of funny stuff. There was a lot of schlocky sci-fi stuff in there too, stuff that's very cheesy. I was cool with it. I had such a good time with it. Chris loved it too, but it was funny. Chris's wife was like, what the fucking hell was that? When we got done watching it, she was like, man. And we were like, I don't know. I guess we saw a different movie.
Well, dude, if there was ever a target audience for that movie, which I'll be honest, I did not see. You told me about it, and I totally forgot it was coming out. You'd be the target audience for that movie.
Absolutely. 1,000%. 1,000%. So no, I loved that movie, man.
Whose side were the dinosaurs on?
They were just trying to get it in. They were just trying to eat people.
Okay.
But like, dude, when I tell you that it was there are vicious and brutal dinosaur scenes that it's like, see, the first Jurassic Park movie was kind of in this vein, and then it went family adventure movies. Like, that's what I want, man. I want like brutal, horrific dinosaur carnage, and that's what this movie brought.
Yeah,
amazing.
I'll check that out.
Absolutely. I remember you texting me, and I was like, holy shit, is that playing near me? And it was like one screening at the local Apple Blossom AMC like the following day, and it was gone. So we didn't even pick it up at Alamo, which was a shame, because I know a lot of people, hey, who doesn't want to see dinosaurs eating people and, brutal gore? So
right.
It was awesome.
My number 10 of 2025, following Lock and Step with B-Ratty, has got to be Josh Rubin's Hard Eyes. Again, it came early at the beginning of the year. We kind of had a big dud with Wolfman, and I was really bummed at how the year started out. So I was excited that we had another Valentine's Day slasher, and it was a really fun fucking time. You put it perfectly, B-Ratty, Olivia Holt, and Mason Gooding. Amazing pairing, wonderful chemistry. The kills are off the charts. And of course, it harkens back to my love of those late 90s, early 2000s slashers. It reminded me a lot of Valentine, which I'm a huge fan of, that a lot of people don't talk about that often. With Michael Kennedy and Christopher Landon writing, just solid stuff, man. Really witty, a lot of great humor, and a great popcorn horror movie. I saw a lot of people shitting on that movie, and I'm like, it serves its purpose perfectly. It's not trying to be like the next Scream per se. It's just really trying to entertain you for the hour and a half that it's on the screen. And it is exactly 97 minutes. So properly so. It only made $33 million on an $18 million budget, which was a bummer. But One of the perks of this year, for me at least, as part of Epic Film Guys, is I got a lot of coverage in the media in terms of movies. And while I didn't get a blurb connected to this movie, they did use something I said on Twitter as part of the marketing. I forgot what the hell it was, but they screenshotted it and asked me if they could use it. And I said, sure, why not? And so that was a cool part of that. So number 10 for me was Hard Eyes. Yeah. So on to you, B-Ratty, for your number 9.
It's always fun to look at my list and wonder where I'm going to piss you guys off the most.
I can't wait. I look forward to it every year.
So my number 9, I think, was more highly anticipated for me than reality ended up being for me. But it is Bring Her Back.
Holy shit.
Wow.
So
what
I guess
in
here
the
it is.
fuck?
I mean, we have a whole episode on it. It's a good movie. It cracked my top 10 out of all the movies I've seen this year. So keep that in mind.
No, I can't wait to see what the next 7 fucking or 8 movies are on your list.
Steamboat Willie, Screamboat.
Hey, Screamboat wasn't bad. Okay, Screamboat was not the worst movie I've seen this year.
But for Bring Her Back, Sally Hawkins has a knockout performance. Billy Barrett, Misha Haywood, the characters are good. I think it still comes back to just it's so heavy for me, and I also feel like it doesn't do anything for this great mythology and world building that the Philippou brothers did with Talk to Me. And I know it's completely different movies, but I think I was looking more for that sort of vibe. That being said, on the flip side of that being heavy, the brutality in this is almost unmatchable throughout this year. And I think we can all agree on that. The scenes with the knife and the cantaloupe in the kitchen, right? Or the sheer shock of him getting hit by the car.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Well, we already spoiled this movie like
of course we
6
did.
months ago. But, for me, it had to make it on the list. But in terms of enjoyment for me, I can't necessarily say that I had a joyous enjoyment of this movie.
I mean, definitely not. I walked out of the theater feeling empty as fuck, but I think that's what I loved about it. But
it does deserve to be on the list, and it does deserve to be noticed as one of B-Ratty's top 10 movies of the year. So number 9 for me is Bring Her Back.
Okay, I mean, go fuck yourself, but thanks for listing it.
Right. I think this is the fastest I've done that on one of these lists in the past 4 years.
For sure. All
Jeremy?
right, my number 9 is a movie that I had zero anticipation for. I knew we were going to watch it, but I didn't have any real excitement over it. But it really surprised me because I thought that it was better than the movie that came before it. And I'm talking about Black Phone 2.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean,
Good pick.
the first movie was entertaining and I enjoyed it for what it was, but I was like, yeah, I mean, it didn't blow my mind. It didn't knock my socks off, but it was fine. It was entertaining. I think we all were pretty favorable on it when it came out for the most part.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when they announced part 2, I was like, well, it's Blumhouse. Of course they're going to do a part 2. That's just what they do. It's part of their
As long as it
business
makes
model.
money. As long as it makes
Yeah. Part of their business model. So I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. I really don't care about it. But then some stuff started coming out with like the grabber like being more in the Freddy Krueger realm of things. And then it was seeing him on the ice and it was a winter setting, which is what us horror fans have been dying for in a fucking Friday the 13th movie.
I know,
for
right, dude?
decades
For
now.
30 fucking 40 years here.
Fuck, man. And then this movie, we went to the screening of it and I loved it. They made the grabber even more terrifying in this sequel than what I thought he was in the first one. Like just really a boogeyman, apparatus, like just terrifying entity. And I loved the character development. I loved the new characters that they introduced as well. I just thought that this was a really rare and special movie where it's better than the original, which is very, very far and few between when movies
Sure.
are able to capture that. So I loved it, man. And I was really shocked at how much I loved it when I got out of the movie. Like, I can't believe that was fucking great. So, yeah, that's my number 9, man. It really surprised me.
Great pick,
Nice.
dude. I'm seeing that on a lot of the top of the year lists for people, so definitely deservedly so. It may or may not show up on my list. We'll see. But at my number 9 is Together, the supernatural body horror film written and directed in his directorial debut by Michael Shanks, starring Dave Franco and Allison Brie. It had to make the list because the advanced screening that I went to, I just had such a blast with this. Them being, a real life married couple, they had a perfect chemistry on screen. And I like that you're rooting for basically a complete asshole. I mean, Dave Franco as the character of Tim is a huge loser, but I can kind of relate to him because he's this guy. He's in his late 30s. He still wants to be a rock star. He's still fighting for it, but yet he agrees to go move out with his wife that's a teacher to the middle of nowhere in this house where he's far away from it. And it's basically like a marital situation with these two put together, and quite frankly, so literally when they get attached to one another and they have to deal with the situation. I just thought it was really great body horror, and the movie went in some interesting directions. Not all of it worked well, but I think overall in a directorial debut, it was very successful in what the film eventually became by the end of it. I just really had a fun time with it. So I had to put it on the list because also even though The Substance was like this huge thing last year and it was really high on my list last year, and loved that movie. It's one of my favorite movies of the past 10 years. That was the first time a body horror movie went into the mainstream in a big way. So I was happy to see a nice follow-up from somebody else to do, hey, let's do more body horror. Like Cronenberg isn't as Cronenbergian as he used to be. I know his kid's trying his hand at it and stuff, but this just really wet my whistle in terms of the body stuff. So, and I know what Jeremy would say, the CGI stuff at the end, it did take away from it a little bit, but some of the practical stuff we got and some of the CG overall, and at least the imagery for me and the artistry behind it really, really worked. So together at number 9 for me.
Dude, one of the most painfully awkward scenes. Oh, sorry. No, I'll just go. One of the most painfully awkward scenes is when Alison Brie's character goes to propose to Dave Franco at that party in the first act of the movie.
That's the most horrific scene in the movie.
They're just sitting there, and he's like, and you're like,
"Are you serious?"
Man,
he's like, "Are you serious?"
Yeah. And based on all the trailers, what's going to happen. Eventually, so you're like, oh man, it sets the tone so perfectly. But I don't know that any other horror movie has made me feel so awkward in my seat.
Absolutely. It put me into an instant sense of dread because how your wife would feel like, or a girlfriend or fiance, whatever at the time, in that moment. Especially shows right immediately after that when they're in bed laying together, like he's like, "I'm sorry, I didn't know if you were serious or not." Then she wants to fuck and he's like, "Sorry, I can't." What a loser.
Yeah. The last shot of that movie, had that not been in the movie, I would have loved this movie so much more.
One shot, Jeremy.
Just
turn it off before it comes. Just turn it off, dude.
It ruined it. Like, dude, had it just only been from the point of view of, the Together character looking at the parents and just seeing their facial expressions, and then the movie ends and you
like
never know what it looks like.
Like you said, just their expression, when we talked about it before, just their expression and ends. I get what you're saying. I don't totally disagree with that, but they decided what they wanted to do with it, and they did it. It didn't ruin the whole movie for me because I liked the rest of it. So, but that's fair. But on to you, B-Ratty. We're at number 8. And don't disappoint me this time.
So for number 8, I mean, it's been a year of a few Stephen King adaptations. 3 that I can think of off the top of my head. I'm sure there's more out there that I'm missing, but this one also throws it back to the beginning of the year for me. And Osgood Perkins, the monkey, is number 8. I think it was such a wacky, zany, disgusting at times, yet emotional horror movie. I think that Osgood Perkins followed up on Loglegs by completely subverting everybody's expectations, right? And doing this horror comedy, which also goes into how he kind of takes the original short story from Stephen King and flips it on its head and makes it something that you can laugh at and kind of gawk at. But I think Theo James is great in it, playing dual characters. And, I star in it, Rowan Campbell.
Yeah, you are in that movie. They put that fucking big wig all over your face, so we couldn't tell it was you.
I was, there was a lot going on with the show.
Are you just getting paid scale for that? You probably just got paid scale. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was kind of just like if they had some McDonald's for the crew, they gave me some. And I was there out of the goodness of my heart. They were like, "Look, we know you're the biggest Stephen King fan on Epic Film, guys." And I said, "Yeah, of course, take it."
Sure.
But no, I think it's really fun. Tatiana Maslany, she does a really good job. I was wishing she was in the movie a little more, but I'm hoping to see more from her in horror going forward. And just the fucking imagery of that monkey man popping up and just wreaking havoc, and then the ends just having everything go wrong, and that school bus of cheerleaders with their heads all cut off and everything. Like it's just fun, fun horror. And we could talk a lot about elevated horror, and I'm sure we'll have a lot on here with emotional horror in it, but just to have something that you can sit back and laugh at and look, it's kind of like with Together, looking around the crowd and people audibly going like, what the fuck did I just watch? Like that's a great experience to have.
Absolutely.
So number 8, The Monkey. Very nice. Very nice.
Nice.
Very nice. Number 8 for me is Him.
Ooh.
I really loved this movie, man.
Faded too.
Yeah, I didn't go into it with any like real anticipation other than I'm like, the trailers look really insane. It's like really insane visuals, and I had a feeling it was about like having to sell your soul to the devil, to find the success that you want on earth.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really strange, brutal, and even hilarious, which was a nice little added ingredient. I wasn't anticipating the humor at the end of it, and it was.
Well, did you think Marlon Wayans would ever do a movie where there's not some humor?
Right.
Dude, he was great in this movie, man. Like,
he was.
I want to see him in more horror movies and more genre movies and more.
The new Scary Movie's coming soon, so.
Yeah, I want to see him in the exact opposite of that, because we've seen him do that his whole career. Yeah. He was really good in this movie. He was really scary in this movie.
He was kind of scary in White Chicks. There were some moments.
Oh, I mean, the scariest.
Yeah, it's one of the scariest things ever put on fucking film was that.
When he eats that quiche and has to go in the bathroom, that's pretty fucking terrifying.
Oh my god. Yeah, White Chicks is a super popular
classic
movie with my 9-year-old. I've had to explain what she's like. What does this word mean? I'm like, you're not allowed to say that's a bad word. So really good parenting. 9-year-old. Her favorite movie's like White Chicks.
This also comes from the parent on the show who used to let his 3-year-old watch Gremlins and wonder why she was scared.
Dude, I have no regrets about that.
I mean, dude, look at his basement. Let's not open that can of worms though, because
Yeah.
He has literal evil beings in the basement there, alive.
Yeah, and which my kids like. It used to be like, no matter what, they would not walk into the basement by themselves, like never. And now like they'll just come downstairs like they don't give a shit, So life-size horror monsters in the basement, Hashtag.
But him's a good pick, man.
Dude, yeah, it was really entertaining. And the visuals, and you guys know that I'm a sucker for like cult and like satanic kind of movies, so this just really did it for me. And I know it was not something that was universally embraced by people. I think a lot of people saw it and they were like, that movie was a piece of shit. That's not how I felt about it. I really enjoyed it, and I thought it was really original and unique, and that's why it's my number 8, dog.
Yeah.
And my number 8 is a movie that I thought Jeremy would have much higher on his list, but it is Scott Derrickson's Black Phone 2, which may be a little bit further off than I expected it to be at the end of the year in terms of its placing, but I really, much like Jeremy, really enjoyed this one. I also, much like Jeremy, think it's better than the first one. I did enjoy the first one. I think, as he said earlier, we were all pretty warm on it. Like, I wasn't blown away by it, but Ethan Hawke, who is... arguably one of the best actors of his generation, delving into the horror genre this late in his career is really exciting to think about. And just the idea of him playing this character of the Grabber, which is, in its own right, we can say it now, he is a modern horror icon. They had his mask at Walmart for Halloween this year. People are dressing up as him. I think Halloween Horror Nights did like... one of their rooms was based on the movie. I don't know how that worked or anything, but and also this is another, I guess it's not Stephen King adaptation, but it is based on The Black Phone by Joe Hill. We all know who he is, so it is within the family in some way, shape, or form, and there it is. And I loved that this really captured that wintry vibe, which you said it perfectly, Jeremy. We don't get that in movies at all. Like almost never do we get winter. I know it's usually a budget issue because shooting in the actual snow is a pain in the ass, and actors don't want to do it. And then the CG to make snow is also expensive. But this movie only had a budget of 30 million, and the majority of the film takes place with CG winter, and it looked great. I thought it was wonderfully done. Great sense of dread throughout, and he is arguably the closest thing we've gotten to a nightmarish boogeyman since Freddy Krueger. So Ethan Hawke once again knocked it out of the fucking park there. I don't think the movie itself is, going to go down in history as one of the great all-time horror movies, but I think as a counterpart to the first one, it built upon it in a really great way. The character work was really well done, and the performances are very solid. I mean, Madeline McGraw, fucking amazing. I know Mason Thames is like the big name to be talking about now because he was in so many big movies this year, but McGraw really she knocked it out of the park for me. Great performance. So there it is. The Black Phone 2 at number 8. B-Ratty.
Shoot. Well, number 7 for me kind of goes hand in hand with my last pick, where you kind of more on the horror comedy side. But
sure,
man, I had a great time with Final Destination Bloodlines.
Oh,
and I didn't think I would, because this is going into a franchise that has literally gone off the rails at times, and then also just kind of I lost interest in over the years. Right, first 2 are really good. Third one I can still watch, but after that it's like, all right, what are we doing here? Like, you're getting the same shtick over. Death has missed you and is coming back on the backswing for you. But at their core, you watch these movies for the gruesome, gory kills, right? You don't watch 100%. It for a lot of character development. You don't watch it to see who's going to live and take on the next one. And so when you peel it back to that, this one, it captures that perfectly. Like, the kills in this are hysterical yet brutal as fuck. I mean, the one I'm thinking of is where dude has the piercing in his dick and gets sucked into the ultrasound machine and gets
hilarious.
Crushed by it. Like, it does such a great job of doing the fake outs that we all know and love from the first 2 movies, where you have so much tension built up thinking that something's going to happen, and then it's the sleight of hand trick and it does something else. Yeah. There's not, I can't say that there's a lot in there story wise that is much different than any of the other movies. But on its premise, it's this grandmother. There's this book that kind of supposed to take you back to all these people are connected from this one accident.
I thought it did a pretty good job. Yeah, to your point,
it's fine.
I thought that the familial elements were slightly strong. The dad was a piece of shit loser who was just like, "What's going on? Everyone's dying. I don't know what's going on." So but I liked the core element of the main like the uncle and the cousins and all that stuff. I thought that worked pretty well.
Yeah, and I do love, spoiler alert, the ending of it. It just goes all for it and does not leave survivors.
Epic, yeah. Practical setting, really badass. Yeah.
So for me, 7 is Final Destination Bloodlines.
Awesome. J-Dog, you're at your lucky number 7.
Number 7 is The Long Walk. Movie was great, man. Everything about this movie kind of set it up that it was going to be great. Like the premise, how good the casting is, the trailers were great. It just looked like, okay, and it's such a cool idea. Like, the premise of this movie alone is just, I feel like we're like not far from that.
Not at all. It's very topical.
Politics shit. Yeah. But yeah, no, it was really original. And the performances were amazing. My guy David Johnson from Alien Romulus, he stole every single scene that he was in Alien Romulus, and he did the exact same thing with this movie.
Oscar caliber, dude. I mean, I know he's not going to get any love,
100%.
But what he did in that movie was Oscar fucking caliber.
Unbelievable. Man, this guy is going to have like the biggest, best career because he's incredible. He elevates every single thing that he's in. I had never read the original source material, so I knew just basically what the trailers, shared. And man, it was heartbreaking, devastating, and just one of those movies that you just have this sense of like hopelessness. And the whole time you know that it's gonna be bad, but you care for these characters so much that the more you watch it, the more that you hope that something's gonna happen to save these characters.
Yeah.
Like, example would be the movie Alpha Dog. Like,
Oh my god.
great
yeah.
movie, but as you're watching it, you know it's a true story. You know what happens, but you love Anton Yelchin's character so much that you're watching and you're like, no, let this be the time that it doesn't happen. And I feel like that's kind of how I felt watching The Long Walk. Is I really loved these characters, and it was heartbreaking when they would go, and then that finale. And I mean, Mark
Man.
Hamill is really fucking Mark Hamill in this movie.
He's over the top as fuck, but he's having a great time though, for sure.
He is.
Use your
and-
sack.
Dude, what's funny is I had to go take my youngest daughter to go see the SpongeBob movie yesterday, and I've never even yeah that's my next pick. I had never even seen an episode of the show, but Mark Hamill was the villain.
You've never seen
an episode
SpongeBob?
of the show. Never.
Dude, I used to smoke a bong fucking in the morning at 19 years old and throw that shit on, eat a bowl of fucking Cheerios.
Never seen it, so like I went into it going like I don't know what the fuck this is gonna be, and I mean Clancy Brown was in it, so that was rad. But fucking
like voice
Mark
character
Hamill
or as
was
himself.
Both,
Oh.
yeah. But
All right.
Mark Hamill was the villain in this movie. What's funny is the voice that he uses is very similar to the voice that he uses in The Long Walk.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, yeah. I don't need to talk about SpongeBob anymore. Just there's the parallel.
No.
right
We can
there.
do that. It's fine.
Oh, I mean, let's
Full
go,
retrospective,
baby.
full
Let's get down to the
spoiler
first
review.
SpongeBob SquarePants movie with David Hasselhoff.
Let's go. So yeah, no, yeah, that was my number 7 pick.
I just had to mention because unfortunately it didn't make my list. It is one of my favorite movies of the year. It would have been probably in the latter 5 after the 10. But for a movie that's all about dudes just walking, it had me captivated the whole fucking runtime. I loved every character, the difference in their unique personalities, where they came from. I love that it really channeled that the way that Stephen King builds his characters as very unique individuals, and I cared about each one of them, even the ones that were assholes in the beginning. Jeremy, by the end, when you knew shit was about to go down, I cared about them, which is a testament to the director and the writing. And so, wonderful pick there.
Yeah, great pick.
My number 7 is a movie you already talked about. It is Final Destination Bloodlines, which, I mean, Brady, you already said everything perfectly in regards to it. I thought the opening, while very CG heavy, was one of the best openings, if not honestly the best opening since the first Final Destination movie. It had me by the fucking balls. I thought it was great fun, loved the setting, loved the period. The movie decided to do something slightly different with that than what we'd seen in the previous movies. I mean, I think, wasn't the last one before this, correct me if I'm wrong, like about fucking like stock car racing or some dumb shit, like NASCAR was the opening? I don't remember, but
I think so.
Yeah. It got so wonky. I don't know.
It got so wonky. I actually don't mind, like, the first 3 I think are very solid, and I used to look forward to seeing those movies in the theater. I mean, the first one came out and I was in high school, so big Devon Sawa fan. So I mean, I'd been following those movies as they came out, and I always said this to you guys on the show. It's time for this to come back. This franchise, it deserves its time back in the limelight, the same way that Saw does. We have all these other franchises coming back. We've got lots of slashers back in the limelight. Like, I'm ready to see Final Destination take the reins again and give me some blood and fucking gory goodness and lots of laughs. And that's what I got here. It's silly, but I think the writing in terms of the character moments and the family elements were strong enough to get me invested enough in our main characters. The mom leaves the kids because, they think she's crazy, but the whole time she knows this shit's after them. I really loved how goofy that was, but the kills are just so fucking good here. And it's interesting because we just had Osgood Perkins do his version of a Final Destination like a few months before that with the monkey, and I loved that stuff in that movie too. But they really hammered home the true Final Destination vibes in this one when it came out in May. And it showed that people cared and wanted to be a part of this franchise again, because on a $50 million budget, it made over $300 million. So I'm like, dude, give me more of these. I don't give a shit. It was really crazy to see a Final Destination movie come out in 2025 and so many people on social media talking about it like it's the hot new thing. So it just reinvigorated that nostalgic feeling inside myself. Like, man, it's great to see something from back then that people used to kind of shit on a little bit, return in such an epic fashion. So yeah, Bloodlines is my number 7, and we're down to number 6.
I wouldn't even mind seeing like a Final Destination do like a Winter Wonderland vibe, like have it be like a seasonal version, and like you're getting killed by all these Christmas decorations. And like that's like one of the most accident-prone times of the year.
They've not done that yet. That would be amazing. I mean, at this point, I'm open to anything. Do spin-offs and shit. I don't care, man. As long as you have these writers and directors behind these movies that care about the source material and want to make fun movies and entertaining movies that are solid, bring it on. I'm down.
Yeah, same. All right, well, number 6 for me, I don't think it's going to be any surprise that this is on my list. I think I was surprised where it ended up being, and it's a movie that all three of us have been waiting decades to come out, and I'm talking about 28 years later. There's not much that I can say about it that we haven't already spent hours talking about before, but Danny Boyle and Alex Garland are back. You have a pretty good cast with Jodie Comer, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Ray Fiennes, and then you also have Spike, who's played by Alfie Williams, who does a really great job with his character. I know a lot of people were upset that this wasn't as horrific as other entries have been, or the original didn't have that same dread, and I get that too. But I think because that 3 movies are supposed to come out, the world building that it does
absolutely
gets you through that stuff. Like it is more of a drama horror, but when you still have those horror aspects, man, like the rage is still there. Like the zombies and the creatures are still terrifying, especially that one with the massive ass dick. Like that thing came swinging after you. Like that is exactly what the mouse saw in my room with my dad all those years ago, just swinging, just
the sound like a big fan,
a little pendulum. So it was I love it. I think that the cinematography is outstanding and gorgeous, and those shots of like what's going to end up being the Bone Temple, but when you meet Ray Fiennes' character, you see this just temple of bones. That made that conversation of when Spike has to let his mom pass and go so much more impactful. Like
absolutely.
It's incredible that you can take a movie that is at its core such a horrific thing and put like these moments of realness and beauty in there. I thought it was going to be much higher on my list. I still think that it's obviously cracking top 10, but man, it was good to see that back, and I'm super excited for Nia DaCosta's Bone Temple next year.
Which we are seeing as of this recording, like next week. We're seeing it like next week or something. So, or the following week or whatever. We're seeing an advanced screening, and if you're listening early, we may even have passes for you guys to come join us. So check that shit out. But I won't lie, man. Like it's coming up on my list here. And it did slide down my list a little bit too. So no hate. But J-Dog.
I wish I enjoyed that movie as much as you guys. The original movie is probably one of my favorite movies ever. I just think it's a literal perfect horror movie. And this, I don't know if it was just for me. I think I need to rewatch it.
I'd recommend
because
it,
I think that it was just so many years in between these movies, and I had it built up in my head what I kind of hoped it would be, and then it was something completely different. So maybe it's like that's more of a me thing than being
if I remember
on the film
correctly,
itself.
Correct me if I'm wrong. You used to say that the sequel was good, and then you watched it again and you said it wasn't.
Yeah,
so,
I used to think, yeah. I was like, man, the sequel to 28 Days Later is fucking amazing. And then I like went back like a year ago and rewatched both those movies, and I was like, oh man, that sequel is horseshit. Like I was tripping on that one. So yeah, I think I need another view on that one to try and gauge whether it doesn't work for me, or whether it was on me and I just had different expectations on it. But my number 6 is a movie that you gentlemen's detested. It's the Silent Night, Deadly Night remake.
Oh my god,
man! I know, I understand. Just check this out. I didn't put Final Destination. It's not even in my top 10. But Silent Night, Deadly Night is on my top 10. Just
had to be the contrarian. Had to do it on purpose, didn't you?
Dude,
I don't understand how every year I get shit on for my picks.
I'm shitting on him right now. I hate that fucking movie. Actually, I'm
Dude.
sorry. I'll roll that back. I didn't hate it. I'm sorry. But I have this to say, guys. This is crazy. I meant to send this to you guys yesterday. Ruby Modine, who I kind of shit on her performance in that movie, she followed the Burton Batcave, my Batman page, and liked a bunch of Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman posts. And I'm like, I wonder if she listened to the episode.
She just starts like shitting on
She did this
everything
over
we
the
post.
weekend.
That's
I was like,
funny.
oh my God, really? I feel terrible now. But thanks for supporting
That's
the
funny.
content, though.
Hey, don't
Yeah,
wish it were
that's
easier. Wish
funny.
you were better, Ruby Modine.
Oh my god.
Anyways, let me
So-
hear why it's number 6.
Yes, let's hear it.
Yeah. So the original Silent Night, Deadly Night is a movie that I love. Right? It's not like cherished and beloved to me like A Nightmare on Elm Street or even fucking My Bloody Valentine. Right?
Mm.
But it's still a cult classic that I'm like, I really enjoy this wacky horror movie from the 80s. Right? So it wasn't like I was going into this like, man, you better not fuck up this thing that I love. It's like, all right, let's see what they're, we'll see what they're gonna do with it. And then they cast Rowan Campbell, and how I feel about Halloween Ends. He's a great actor, but I was like, man, this fucking guy, man, like you already ruined fucking
this
Halloween.
fucking guy.
So
You got to put this fucking
This
guy in
fucking
here
guy.
too. Unfortunately, it's B-Ratty though in secrecy. So
Yeah.
it is. But I'm like, man, he already fucking ruined Halloween. Now we're gonna put him in a fucking Silent Night, Deadly Night movie, and I went into it with literally like you guys had already said that you hated it, so I was like, man, I gotta watch. And then, but we were like, we have to do a review of it, so I was like, man, I gotta watch this piece of shit movie that I don't want to watch, that I already know the guys hated. So I started watching it, and I was instantly pulled in from the ghost voice in his head to what was going on with his what's the thing that he was putting his blood prints on, the advent calendar.
okay,
Advent calendar.
And Charlie's convincing him of everything to do.
Yeah, so he's got this like fucking advent calendar that he's like putting blood in, and like the movie was just so over the top and wacky, but in a way that just was so unique, and it reminded me what I love about horror: the good,
just
the
heard you
bad,
say
the
unique.
ugly.
So.
And dude, I feel like it was unique. Like it compared to the source material, the angle that they decided to go down on this.
Have you seen the Venom movies though? Have you seen them?
Yeah. Well, I've
Okay.
also seen Dexter, which you can tell Dexter was
It
like
is
heavily influenced on this too.
Dexter inspired, absolutely.
But I don't know, man. Like I was along for the ride, and it was also kind of fun not knowing where they were gonna go with it, since they were treading a new path. And by the end of it, I remember there was like 15 minutes left of the movie or something, and I looked at my wife. I had my headphones on. I'm watching it on my iPad, and I said, "This movie's almost over, and if the next 20 minutes are solid, I'm gonna fucking love this thing." And then it ended, and I was like, "Hot damn, I fucking love this thing," which is why that episode was really fun, because you guys hate it. I love it, so it's kind of fun when we have those
It's
episodes
highly
where we can go
disliked.
back and
Highly disliked.
I
would
just
have
imagine
I didn't
you had
hate
your
it.
headphones in and you're like, "Oh my god, this movie is so good!"
It's so good.
As I pointed
But
out,
nah, man,
there's great kills in it, and also, dude, I really do believe that overall, out of the entire year in terms of horror, he gives one of the best performances. So, and that's a guy that I agree with you on the situation when it comes to Halloween. What he kind of did to it to us as fans, So yeah,
right.
but great
Yeah,
pick.
no, that's why it was my pick, and it's pretty high on my list because like
Clearly,
it surprised me. And if a movie can surprise me like that and keep me engaged and entertained, and I'm laughing, I'm kind of on the edge of my seat, I don't know where it's going next, and it's like a roller coaster that I loved all the twists and turns. It's not common, for as long as we've been doing this and how much we love movies, for a movie to kind of surprise me like this one did. So that's why it's so high on my list, man. That's my number 6.
well, not a lot of people watched the movie. Unfortunately, I only got a limited release, though I do know from the behind-the-scenes stuff that I was dealing with that studio and us trying to do something at Alamo, they wanted a lot. So that's probably why a smaller amount of eyes were on it, and why we got smaller downloads because of that, because no one fucking saw it. But I don't know if it's available now on streaming, but if it is, soon, watch that shit and listen to our episode so you can hear us all argue about it, because it's lots of fun.
Sure is.
My number 6 is a movie already mentioned that Jeremy disliked and that B-Ratty liked, but it did slide down my list a little bit as the year went along. 28 years later, which it's interesting to think, Jeremy, that right before this came out, you and I went to a screening of a movie that is not horror, but was horrific in Warfare, and we got to meet Alex Garland. That movie's fucking amazing and still one of my top 10 movies overall of the year outside of horror, for sure. Grabbed me by the balls and they ripped that shit off. The cum was spraying fucking everywhere, just because it was so intense. But it was written by Alex Garland, co-directed that, and he wrote this, much like he should, because he helped create this entire franchise. And we didn't get as much time with him as we'd hoped to actually talk with him about the upcoming film, but it resonated with me that I was really anticipating this movie. And it being so long since we got a really good zombie movie. I know we've had zombie movies, but Jeremy, you can attest to this. Since The Walking Dead came and like revitalized it, it kind of died again. And we've had a few movies here and there that were decent. Right.
Revitalized it and destroyed it at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, in essence, like there hasn't really been anything major to come out in a long time that, you know, Zack Snyder had a movie. I know Romero's daughter had a movie come out that I really wanted to watch.
Daisy Ridley is in a zombie movie coming out. So I've heard.
I think it actually got released somewhere else last year, but I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. Maybe we'll cover it soon. I'm hearing it's pretty good. But to that point, I liked that this movie took a different approach. The movie opens and it feels like the first movie, and then it jumps right in and focuses on a family element that, you know, we see what people are living like in this world 28 years later. And it's another movie where Aaron Taylor Johnson plays a fucking asshole, which, hey, rightfully so. He's playing assholes and everything. He played an asshole in Nosferatu last year. I mean, he's kind of a prick in everything lately. So, I mean, he was in Craven. And people want this guy as Batman. I don't know. I love Johnson. He's fantastic. He's a great actor. And he gets in really good shape, too, which obviously shows in this movie.
Yeah.
Grows a great beard, too. But Ray Fiennes... Ray Fiennes is literally like the centerpiece of this movie. And I love him as an actor. Really think he's an all-timer, and just to see him in a genre movie once again, I'm talking about Ethan Hawke earlier in Black Phone 2. I love that we're getting these actors that aren't scared to jump into genre stuff like this and perform within like it's something special because they care about the writing. So this leads me on this adventure with this world again and gets me excited to see where it's going to go next. So I'm just excited that we're going to have the Bone Temple next. And if that goes well enough, obviously I've already heard that they've greenlit the third film with, you know, Cillian Murphy coming back. So that's going to be
apparently
awesome.
He's in this next one though. Apparently he is in Nia DaCosta's.
I think he's just in a small little piece.
I'm sure they'll show him at the end or something.
It's probably going to be like a cameo or something like that to lead into the third. But, you know, this movie made $151 fucking million on a $60 million budget. So if that's any indication to the interest behind this franchise or zombie movies in general, that's a pretty good impact right there. So that's it right there for the latter 5 of our top 10 horror movies of 2025. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, our top 5 of 2025. Stay tuned.
Hi, this is Mikey.
And this is Maddie, and we are the Alone in the Dark podcast.
Join us on this nostalgic journey through horror where you will find top 5 themed podcasts
and audio commentaries curated for some of your favorite horror films.
If you're into celebrating the best films that came out during a certain year, then you'll really dig our class of episodes.
We even repurpose lines from your favorite horror movies to create a brand new story for our special In the World of podcasts.
We bring you something different each and every episode, so let us be your video store curators.
Fun is guaranteed, and there are never any late fees.
Remember, you're never really alone in the dark.
And we're back with our top 10 actually, horror movies of 2025. Jesus Christ. I'm so invested in these movies, I actually forgot how many movies we're talking about. But
well, you're right. We're going into the top 5.
We're going into the top 5 out of our top 10, out of our top 20, out of our top 30. We're going to talk about all the other
right.
All the other ones at the end.
Have a surprise for you all. We're going to be
this is going to be our first 4-hour episode. So Buckle the fuck up, ladies and gentlemen. But you already heard the other movies we talked about. We are going back to you, B-Ratty. This is it, man. This is the nitty gritty. If you disappoint me, I might put you over my knee and I'll have the belt on your ass.
I already
consistently.
disappointed you guys.
You might be punished for this, but
Look, I've disappointed all 5 of my dads. You're nothing new. It's fine.
Get in line, buddy.
Right. Take a ticket, go over. Now that we've gotten through the back 5, is there anything that surprised you guys about those picks before we go into this?
For me, no, actually. I mean, shut up. You're placing and such, but Jeremy's list, I actually kind of expected those to show up.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
There we go. All right.
Though I will say, though.
You lied to me this morning.
Well, I will say, Jeremy, you did actually say, I think, in our episode that you thought Silent Night, Deadly Night would be in your top 5. So it didn't make the top 5. It barely made it, but it made it in there. It's close.
Yes.
But you've watched some other stuff since then. So much like myself.
I have,
I've rearranged my shit too. So, and you have as well, B-Ratty.
I have, which actually brings me to my number 5, which we talked about right before this episode started, because I had to be convinced that it actually does fall into this category. But my number 5 is the new Yorgos Lanthimos Begonia with Emma Stone, Jesse Plemons, also has Aidan Delbus in there. Man, I mean, I'm sure this is going to pop up for you guys too at some point, but blown away. Like, honestly, like I'm
a huge, God.
I'm a huge Yorgos fan, but I will say I think his prior movies are a little less accessible to audiences. Like, you have to really like some abstract stuff for The Lobster. You have to really like some edge of your seat tension, just feel bad stuff with Killing of a Sacred Deer.
And you want to watch fucking the whole time for Poor Things. Yeah,
right.
If you like fucking, then you'll like that movie.
Yeah, but also, Poor Things is a different interpretation of Yorgos Lanthimos' interpretation of The Bride of Frankenstein. So when we got to this, I was like, well, you know what? I've liked pretty much everything he's done so far. I still haven't seen Kinds of Sadness or
Agreed.
Kinds of Kindness.
I haven't watched that one either. Yeah.
But Danny says that she loved it. And so I need to go back and watch that. But when I got to this one, I was like, you know what? I love Jesse Plemons. I think Emma Stone and Yorgos are just a pair to be unrivaled at this point.
Yeah.
But man, dude, I think this is easily his most accessible while still disturbing and unnerving movie. I mean,
I'd say
this,
so.
Anytime you see Jesse Plemons show up, you know you're in for some fucked up character. And he even, like, the way that they style him, where he's lost a ton of weight, but with the long kind of thinning hair, he looks unkempt. And I think there's something so scary about how close to reality this movie makes me think it could be, with this culture of conspiracy theorists and living in their own echo chambers.
It's very, very fucking real, man. That's
and even to the point where they talk about, like, it's in, I want to say it's North Carolina, but it's either North Carolina, somewhere in the mid-Atlantic, that's been ravaged by opioids. That in itself is, like, even gives it more firmer time and place for me. And just, God, like, and then to make it a sci-fi horror movie on top of that, like, I had no idea that it was going to go in some of the directions it did. And it had me guessing up until the last act, which is what any good movie should do. And I don't want to just keep droning on about this one, but man, it was a surprise sleeper for me to make on my list. And it's got to be number 5. It's got to make the top 5.
My only issue in general regarding this movie is that I slept on it and didn't see it in theaters, and I wish that I did. I had the opportunity a few times. We did get invited to a screening. It was just a week that I think it might have been like the week around we saw Predator Badlands or something, and we had to opt to do one or the other. So we drive far. We don't. Our screenings aren't down the street. We have to travel pretty far to go to press screenings. So we did what we thought you guys wanted to hear about. But great fucking pick, man. Jeremy, you're number 5.
Number 5, this movie is wild because I'm going to throw some words at you, and it's what this movie is.
I may not understand them, but because I don't understand.
Serial killer shark movie.
Oh, yeah.
Number 5 for me is Dangerous Animals. And yeah, it's a movie about a serial killer that feeds his victims to sharks while they're still alive. And it's kind of a unique, strange concept, and one that it's like, all right, but is this gonna work, or is this just gonna be really hokey? And no, it's absolutely played straight, and I'm pretty sure I can validate that Justin feels the same way about this. I'm not a fan of Jai Courtney.
No.
Like,
No.
No.
I'm not a fan of Jai Courtney. He's never been in anything that I was like, oh, I really like this guy. I mean, he was serviceable in the Suicide Squad stuff.
Sure.
Serviceable.
Yeah. Mhm.
But Terminator and other things, man, he's just awful. Die Hard and shit like that. That was him,
God,
right?
I forgot about that. Holy shit.
Yeah. So they really primed him to be like the next kind of like action star guy, and it hasn't really panned out like that for him. But he not only was great in this movie, he was genuinely fucking terrifying and imposing. His performance was incredible. It made me go, you know what? All right, good for this dude. Like, this was really awesome and stellar for him. And nothing else that he had ever been in had made me feel that way about him as an actor or the characters that he's been able to portray. And this just really, it's exactly that. It's a serial killer that has a boat that feeds and films too. He films all of the feedings
on
of the
VHS
sharks.
in the old camcorder. Yeah,
Dude, it was awesome. One of my favorite subgenres of horror among many is when someone is stuck or trapped in like an impossible situation. So it kind of had that little element going with it. Hassie Harrison that played Zephyr in the movie. Man, she was fantastic as well. What a great actress. Like, dude, put her in tons of horror movies. Like, she was fantastic. But no, this one was just really solid, and it kept me on the edge of my seat the entire movie. And the ending, for a movie like this, the ending is going to make or break it. And I feel like they really nailed the ending in this one.
I
And
agree.
this was another movie that I had like very little interest or anticipation in, and just watched it for something to do, and it surprised the shit out of me. So yeah, my number 5 is Dangerous Animals.
Dude,
yeah.
it almost made my list. It's in my, probably my top 15 there. It was Phil from the Spook House, our good buddy Phil, who did our Halloween 6 episode with us. He told me about it, and he came on the show to review it with me. And I said, you know what? It's playing like at a random time, like one time at our local AMC. And me and Daniel went to go see it, and I was very surprised at how much I thought it was really fucking good. Like, very resourceful. I mean, the sharks are mostly CGI. I think maybe all CGI, but it very well done. I liked that it took the shark genre and turned it's on its head, made it more of a serial killer thriller type thing. And he is very threatening, very horrific in the movie, but also has charisma, something I've never seen out of him in a single performance the rest of his career.
Right.
So I was like,
Right.
awesome. So great pick, dude. I really enjoyed that one for sure. Check out our review if you want to hear it, me and Phil from the Spook House.
I gotta check that out.
Yeah. But my number 5 is a movie, Brady, you already mentioned, the black horror comedy Bugonia by Yorgos Lanthimos, which I just literally watched last night before we recorded this. I said I have to at least give this one a go because Loisos saw it twice. Everyone else in the world had seen it, and I just kind of slept on it a little bit. And I was, much like you, B-Ratty, blown the fuck away by it. I mean, this movie is so weird. It deals with climate horror. The atmosphere just permeates throughout. So unsettling, dread-inducing throughout the whole thing. And Jesse Plemons, one of the scariest characters of the year. It had to be top 5 for me because as I sat down and said, what are the scariest or most horrific or most impactful characters of the genre of the year for me? And he really nailed it because I'm not going to spoil anything, much like I'm thankful that you didn't, B-Ratty, like all the way through because we haven't reviewed it or anything. But if you haven't seen this movie, it brings you in making you think one thing and then it ends making you think another. And while it could be considered as trite or slightly silly the way that it ends up, I had a blast with it. And Yorgos is like the only filmmaker that I think that can really capture that feeling. And as you're leaving the theater, change your mind a little bit. No jump scares, ghosts, or anything, but very unsettling and so intense. I mean, the moments of conversation between Plemons and Stone, who Stone and Lanthimos, I get why they work together. They must understand each other as artists and really connect with one another. Poor Things, they were brilliant together. He just has this way of doing this really fucking weird sense of like he just makes everything unsettling, no matter if it's a beautiful sunny sky, a wide shot, and you're like, oh man, that's gorgeous, but he somehow makes it feel like you're gonna die the next
Ominous.
scene.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh my god, what's gonna happen to me in the next scene? What am I gonna feel? And like there is a dinner sequence between these two characters, and you know, Emma Stone plays this like, you know, stuck up fucking CEO of this major pharmaceutical company, and Jesse Plemons is just this, you know, small town boy whose mom is in a coma. She's had some problems in the past with her health, and she's not awakened in years, and he has just gone down this rabbit hole of there are aliens out there controlling our country. And that is a very real thing, because conspiracy theorists in this country, I mean, there's a lot of them. You can bring up any kind of theory in the world and people will follow you. And if you make it sound real enough and give them facts behind that shit, they'll follow you for it. So very real thing, made me scared for our country. And as always, Yorgos hits the nail on the head in terms of our society. And, there's some stuff when it comes to our climate and other things that he has to say here, but overall it was just a great fucking time. Just really
one of
enjoyed
my I think most memorable lines that I heard from a movie in 2024 that stuck with me was fucking Jesse Plemons and Alex Garland's Civil War, where he goes, well, what kind of American are you? And it's that same type of atmosphere, presence that he brings in that very limited role in Civil War.
What is it
to
about
this entire
gingers?
movie.
Please tell me as one. What is it about gingers that
I don't
makes
think
us
you
so
have
frightened
one.
of you? Because he's scary in that scene and he's scary in this, and then we've had other scary gingers in other movies. The more
Probably
freckles,
our fair skin and our beauty and our close to godliness. I don't know.
well,
It's no, but I mean it's man, it's a great pick.
there it is, number 5, and on to you for your number 4. Be ready.
Man, this is where it gets hard. So number 4 for me.
Really? Do you really get that excited over it? Or?
I mean, it's semi-hard. It's like the top of a brie cheese, you know.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
The rind, if you will. That's what I call it.
Oh,
Oh my god.
Why don't you grind with my rind? But I think for me, number 4, this one has to be in the top 5. God, they're so good in my top 5, I feel like. But Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein is number 4 for me. Beautiful, interesting, unique, just gorgeous, stunning cinematography like you would expect from him. I think Jacob Elordi as the creature as finally breaking out of his, oh, well, he's only known for Euphoria or being a fuckboy in Saltburn. I think that he gives such a physical performance in this one that is going to get people to start to realize like he is the real deal. It's unfortunate that he's probably going to be, or that he is in what is the remake of Wuthering Heights that does not look super good, but well, that's a different subject.
I think it looks perfectly fine, actually.
Mia Goth, it doesn't look like what the book is. But
I think
anyway,
I don't read.
good thing you can't read. You know, Mia Goth plays 2 roles, one with eyebrows, one without eyebrows. I love both, and I think that it's just a really, really great adaptation of this tale. And I could drone on about it, but I'm going to leave it at that because I feel like I'm going to do it injustice by saying all these things that I love about it, when really, at the end of the day, it's a beautiful film that shows just how sad this actual story is, and how the gothic nature of it is brought out, and it's done near perfectly. So that's my number 4.
And also, for almost all of these movies, I'd say actually almost all of them, we have reviews for them. So if you want to listen to us drone on about them indefinitely, there you are. So number 4, J-Dog.
Number 4 for me. This is actually much lower on my list than I thought it would be. And this would, if we were going solely on like just sheer entertainment, right? this would probably be my number one because I think I had the most fun with this movie out of anything that I saw all year long. I saw it multiple times in theaters, and it just really, really worked for me. But in the fashion that, hey, we're doing a top 10, and we're basing on how good we think the movies are that we watched. That's why it's a little bit lower for me because it's not just about the entertainment value, but it's Predator Badlands. This was just, a perfect example of taking something that's existed for so many decades and then doing something completely new and original and flipping it on its head. And like this time, this is the only Predator movie where we follow the Predator as like the anti-hero in this movie. Like we're rooting for the Predator. Usually you're rooting for the person who's trying to survive the Predator. So it flipped it completely on its head and turned it around, and a lot of people were upset about that before the movie came out when the premise was released. And I kind of was indifferent on it. I was like, at least they're doing something new with it. You know what I mean? Because we talked about Final Destination earlier, and I respect, that you guys loved it and it worked for you, but for me it was just something that's like, dude, it's the same thing again. And that's kind of what the Predator franchise had become. It just every movie was basically a reinvention of something that we've already seen done in a similar way that we've already seen it, to where Predator Badlands, it flipped everything and it just worked. And it even had like an emotional core, an element to it, which I'm like,
Absolutely.
I've never seen this in a Predator movie before,
And that's why the
fantastic.
Bros didn't like it, because they're like, I can't see any emotion in my Predator movie.
Yeah, man. And I mean, there are a huge demographic of people that fucking hate this movie because of what it is. But I ended up loving this movie because what it is and it doing something new and reinvigorating for the franchise. So, I mean, and the acting was incredible. Elle Fanning was fucking phenomenal. Like,
So
much like
entertaining.
David Johnson in Alien Romulus, every scene that she was in, she just chewed the scenery and was a complete scene stealer and so memorable and, destined to be a beloved character in the franchise. So yeah, this was in my number 4. I loved this fucking movie, and I wish it made more money, right? Because there was all the news reports of like, this is the highest grossing Predator movie ever, blah blah blah. Not really. When you compare things to inflations and things like that, not to mention the amount of money that they sank into advertising and
lot,
the cost of this movie.
Yeah.
So this I think this movie is making money now, but it wasn't like a box office juggernaut that a lot of media outlets try to portray it to be. And for me, I'm like,
yeah.
I want more. You know what I mean? I want more. Give me more of this. Give me more Dan Trachtenberg Predator movies. So I'm hoping that once, it goes digital and stuff like that, that it makes a fuck ton of money on the back end as well.
I think it will. That's where all these companies care the most about their money anyways these days. So I think it did pretty well. It was number 1, I think, for 2 weeks or something like that. I mean, or 3 weeks or something. To see a Predator movie do that in this day and age. Now, of course, the PG-13 rating helped it a lot. I also loved this movie. And it was on my top 10 most anticipated of the year list for horror. But once I watched it, I thought it's way more adventure science fiction than horror. I decided to not include it. I know why you did, but I was like, man, this list is so hard to come together with. But Jeremy, you and I did a really in-depth review on that one, talking about how much we enjoyed it and all the reasons why. So if you're interested, ladies and gentlemen, go back and listen to that. I know even the original people argue, is it horror? I go, well, it kind of is, because there are scary stuff and it's very intense and suspenseful, and it's, giant, disgusting fucking alien that's killing people. But wonderful pick. My number 4 is a movie already mentioned earlier on from the Philippou brothers. Bring Her Back. This movie took a nail and hammered it into my fucking skull over and over again, and also into my heart. It really affected me and connected with me on an emotional level and a visceral level. And I think, unlike what Brady said, I get your point of view, but I think this movie's better than Talk to Me. I think Talk to Me was more successful in terms of connecting with a younger audience and really connecting with the way our society views things and the youth. But this movie did something different. And I'm glad that they did not just pick up and go, Talk to Me Too, because that was the original plan. They were going to do a sequel immediately, and they didn't. They said, fuck that, I want to do something different. And while this movie did not make as much money, it made only like, I think 40 million or something on a $15 million budget. I loved that they just went for the fucking sky, man. They went as hard as they could, and they dealt with some really insane themes and gave us, arguably, I think probably my second or third favorite. It's in my top 5 performances of the year overall. Sally Hawkins as Laura. She is insane in this movie, but also understandably so relatable for differing reasons. And I just thought this movie did some stuff that other filmmakers would be scared to do on their sophomore effort. So, man, I remember when we left the theater after this one, like I said earlier, I didn't feel like, whoa, that was such a great time. I felt empty inside and I felt hurt. And when I went to bed that night, I laid awake and just stared at the ceiling and thought about the movie, and then told myself, I will see that as soon as I possibly can again. And I did. And the movie affected me even more so on a second viewing. Can't wait to see what these guys are going to do next. I haven't seen any news on what they're going to do next, but I'm always excited to see what these guys are going to do. They're really into like insane wrestling death matches and shit, because they followed my Batman page and I followed them back, and I'm like, holy shit, you guys are like, I think one of them actually does death matches and jumps off like rafters through tables and fucking smashes light bulbs over people and stuff. I'm like, whoa, didn't know you guys were that brutal. So
it's fucking Australians, man.
Even more power to you.
They were gonna do Street Fighter at one point, weren't they?
They were going to do it, and now we've seen the trailer, which, you know what, Street Fighter, the trailer for it looks like a Street Fighter movie based on the game. Yeah. So I'm not going to complain. I'm like, just like the Mortal Kombat movies that we've gotten, the last one and we're getting the next one, people are like, but it doesn't look like. I'm like, bro, it's based on a fucking video game where people kill each other. Like, they just fight and they're in cool costumes. Like, what do you really want out of it? I don't know. Anyways, so that is my number 4. Moving on to number 3. Be ready.
Number 3 for me has been one that has already been mentioned, and that I was a little disappointed you guys had ranked so low.
Cool. I'm glad.
But it is the Black Phone 2. I think that when you're looking back at the year of like what shocked me, what was entertainment value, what had really great imagery, this movie hits all 3 of those, and like Jeremy said, somehow tops its predecessor. Like, is better than the first one, which I was pretty positive on, like all of us were. But I don't know. It's just this movie, the setting was so fucking good. I think that they created a storyline that wasn't just focused on Finney anymore. It was like he was still included, but this took it to a whole new level. It introduced a backstory that you didn't even really know that you needed, and not so much with the grabber, but with the family, and finding out how this family is connected to the grabber in such a strong way. And then to also have what I was worried about happening didn't happen, luckily, which was this overextended backstory of why the grabber is the way he is. You don't get that, and we don't need it. All you know is that he's a bad dude, and he is stuck in this weird in-between right now where he can still terrorize people. So in a way, it kind of like flips the Nightmare on Elm Street thing on its head and does some fun stuff with it. It's just a killer time. It's so fucking fun. I think Ethan Hawke is even stronger in this one, more menacing.
I agree.
And all of that just really, really works for me. So it was top 3 for me, obviously.
Crazy. I actually, I commend you for that. I actually didn't expect that to be in your top 5. So you did surprise me once again.
Yeah, here we go. Well, what can I say?
What can you say?
That's why you guys keep me on. What I can't
like
say
ice
is my
skating.
number 3.
I know what it is. I've known all along you like ice skating.
I can't go.
You're just too scared to tell anyone about it. You want to go ice skating, and you saw the grabber ice skating. You're like, I want to be the grabber, but ice skating, just like in that movie.
The one and only time I've been ice skating, I fell and fractured my face. So
I know. I remember you telling me that. So now I know deep down there's this part of you that connected with it, just seeing the grabber on the ice skates, and you're like, that's it for me.
I was like, man, some kids have all the fucking luck. So number 3. What about you, Jer?
Number 3 is a movie that you guys have already mentioned, Begonia.
Awesome. Wow. High on the list. That's great, dude. Dude,
this was a game changer for me for movies this year. it was just so inventive, and holy fuck, what a roller coaster ride, because like you're watching this conspiracy theorist that abducts this CEO for the company that he works for, and he's convinced that she's an alien, and he's got all these wacky ideas and concepts of like what they need to do to prevent her species from finding her. They're like rubbing this like gross looking lotion shit all over her.
It looked like Noxzema or some shit, like some weird shit. Danielle mentioning, I don't know what that is, but
it looks so uncomfortable. Like being covered head to toe in that shit. I'm like, that looks so uncomfortable. They shaved her head so they weren't able to like track her through transmitters or some shit like that. And like, you know, I used to manage a grocery store for like 19 years, right? So you deal with every different kind of person when you work in that line of work, because everybody eats, right? Like angry people eat, tired people eat, psychotic people eat, people with mental health, drug addictions, XYZ. Like everybody's at some point is like, I have to go to the grocery store. So that becomes your clientele. And sometimes they come in quite a bit, and you know, you through working there, you have general conversations with them. And Jesse Plemons' performance and the character that he played just kind of reminded me of people that I had encountered in my previous career that had mental health issues. And like, what was so great about him, and he's easily probably right now my favorite modern actor at this point, after, especially after Begonia. Like, I think he may be my favorite modern actor.
And you saw Civil War as well, right?
Yes,
Okay.
It was fucking incredible.
Yeah, I mean, dude, he's been crushing it.
And,
yeah.
Dude, everything. And so, like, what was so great about his performance in this movie is he never doubted himself. The character never doubted that he was wrong or could be wrong. He was so sure he figured it all out. And what really nailed it, being a stellar performance for me, was when he would say things to her and he was so confident in them, and like his facial expressions, like, oh, I thought we were having a nice dinner, and like just everything. It was
God,
so
that scene
authentic.
had me on the edge of my seat, man. I was like so
Holy
nervous.
shit, yeah. Holy shit, yeah. It was unbelievable. And like some of his mannerisms and the way that he was so sure of everything he was saying to be fact reminded me of conversations that I had had with people that would shop in my store that had very real mental illness. So his performance was just lights out. It was perfect, and he was terrifying, and he played like a mentally unwell person, like unbelievably. Emma Stone was incredible. The whole time you're kind of teeter-tottering of like, what do I think is going on?
Yeah.
And then when the end happens, I was hoping that's what they were gonna do.
I knew you would.
I was hoping, and I still would have loved I still would have loved the movie even if they didn't, but they did, and I was like, holy fuck,
all I have to say is when he goes in the closet, you're like, oh wait, okay, all right. But then when she goes all the way back and then she goes in the closet, you're like, oh my God. I jumped out of the dude, I literally jumped off the couch and said, are you fucking serious? Are you fucking serious? I was so excited that they did it. But it's Yorgos.
I loved it, man. I loved it so much. Jesse Plemons is definitely somebody that from now on, like, I'm gonna basically check out everything they do from this point on, because I love the performances that he gives, and he picks really interesting, great characters to play. So this movie absolutely knocked my socks off, so that's why it's my number 3.
Hell yeah.
And that should make you proud.
Also,
B-Ratty as a ginger.
the autistic cousin that lived with Jesse Plemons' character, wasn't he wearing a fucking Society shirt? Brian Yesna's Society.
He was wearing a Cavity Color Society shirt, dude. He was.
Dude, that's insane. Yeah, because I was like, oh shit, he's wearing a fucking Society.
You got to reach out to
amazing
your buddy Aaron, who owns Cavity Colors, and be like, dude. I think he posted about that actually today. He was like, maybe he didn't notice that or something, but he posted about it. I was like, holy shit! I noticed it immediately. I go, he's wearing a Society shirt.
Yeah, it's fucking. That was another thing that I was like, okay, well, I fucking love that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know, man. That movie was so great, and it's one that like, it's so. And I keep saying the word unique with these reviews, but I feel like we've gotten a lot of stuff that was really unique this year.
Well, I can agree with you about unique towards Begonia. I don't know. I can't agree with you about unique towards Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Uniquely bad.
All right.
Uniquely something. I don't know
Fuck,
what it is.
fuck you guys, man. Fuck. But Begonia is a movie that like I can't wait to like make my wife watch it with me. You know what I mean? It's like I want to experience other people experiencing it for the first time. Like
Absolutely.
That's like a
That's
good
how
movie party night.
Yeah, that's how different this movie is. So like, man, and like I talked to Brady on the phone earlier, and he recommended Yorgos's other movies that I hadn't seen. So I'm definitely looking forward to jumping into those.
You got it? Yeah, dude. I'm a big Yorgos fan for sure. If you like that one, you'll absolutely. I think though, I will say, I'm not sure if you mentioned this earlier, Brady, that you felt this was less accessible than his other ones. I feel like this is more accessible than his other ones.
I said it was the most accessible.
Okay, good. Then
Yeah.
I agree with you then.
Yeah.
Cool. There you go. But my number 3 is a movie we all saw together. And it was a very interesting screening that we attended. I think you know where I'm going with this. Where we had to see the movie stopped and restarted like 4 or 5 fucking times. But it's a movie that took, I think, not just the horror fans this year by storm, but general audience. $270 million on a $38 million budget. Zach Kreger came back with weapons. Dude, at this point, I could not believe that we might get an Oscar nomination from Amy Madigan as Aunt Gladys out of this shit. But I said it when we saw the movie. I said it. And I said, you know what? The Academy will probably overlook it, but she's on every other list at this point to be nominated for a Best Supporting Actress. So I'm so fucking excited. This movie was such a blast. We all had a great time with it, except for, obviously the technical difficulties the first time we watched it. I had seen it. I think,
You got up and like sprinted out of the theater to go find whoever.
Yes, I did. Only because, as you guys know, you can call me a snob, call me a nerd, whatever the fuck you want to call me, but I care about theatrical presentation.
Snob.
And well, I am one. Go ahead, call me whatever you want. You can actually,
You just told me to, so I did.
Okay. I feel
How'd that feel? Not great? Yeah.
Well, I know I am one, but sometimes.
I know you are, but what am I?
Amazing cast. Julia Garner, fucking brilliant. Alden Ehrenreich. Josh Brolin, one of his best performances in ages, maybe decades, who knows. But Amy Madigan as Aunt Gladys, terrifying imagery in this movie. But yet the movie's fun and it's playful, but it deals with serious, strong societal elements that they're gonna affect you in a deep way, especially if you have kids. I know, Jeremy, you mentioned that to me as we left the theater, but Barbarian was this big sleeper hit. Everyone talked about it. No one knew what he was going to do next. And then he decided to do this movie. And this is one of those guys that he's on my list of like the Philippou brothers or Lanthimos or you name it. Like there's going to be other directors maybe on this list later on that they're just up and coming and they're breaking the boundaries. And I honestly will say this. If it wasn't for Jordan Peele, these guys would not have the gateway open for them.
Yeah. Jordan
Peele came in with Get Out and opened big studios and even smaller studios per se to allowing these filmmakers to make original horror movies, original thrillers. And this is how we have weapons.
Filmmakers that came from comedic backgrounds too, just
True.
like the Jordan
Yeah.
Peele
Yeah.
aesthetic, where it's like that's really interesting that these guys that are known for comedy come through with these fucking unbelievable horror films,
I mean,
out of nowhere.
Craig Kreger was a fucking comedian, dude. The Whitest Kids You Know. Dude, he did so many different things before that, and now he's making insane horror movies. And I know this movie, much like you said earlier, Jeremy, about, I think, Predator Badlands and a few other movies, where a lot of our hardcore, nitty-gritty horror fans are like, fuck that movie, it's elevated horror, it's this or that, it's not what we used to love. This guy was born in Arlington, Virginia, so as a Virginian right now, and a New York person, in which he attended his college to become a filmmaker, I got to give props on that shit. He crushed it with this movie. This movie had imagery that I have not seen in any kind of horror movie ever made before. And it hit a nerve, and it had me on the edge of my seat. And it did some funny things too. The characters are all unique. They all have their own chapter. They all have their time to be invested within. And I just really enjoyed this. I saw it a third fucking time by myself in theaters and didn't tell anybody. That's how much I loved Weapons. It just really resonated with me. So that's why it's at my number 3.
Great pick. Well, number 2 for me probably doesn't surprise any of you. But it's Ryan Coogler's Sinners. I think I don't know. Let me go back a little bit. There's a lot on my list that, like you were saying, Justin, people like hardcore horror fans could be like, well, that's not horror. That's more comedy. Or that's
Sinners
more
is fucking horror, though. Let's be clear.
Yeah. It's a fucking vampire movie. So it blends folk horror with period drama, with the supernatural vampiric horror. It also blends blues and this history of music so beautifully together, right? And on top of that, you have an incredible performance or performances by Michael B. Jordan, who I've loved since his days in The Wire. But he is a powerhouse in his own. But to play twins,
I was in a movie with him.
It's very true.
Yeah, you were, not this one.
I rubbed oil on his back too.
Did you?
Yeah,
with your mouth.
With my dick.
With his penis. But he plays twins that are so similar, and the only difference between them is the different colors they wear. And
I wouldn't say that they're different personality wise.
Different personalities, but for the most part, like, they're also like symbiotic. Like they're so in tune with each other that it's hard sometimes between scenes to be like, okay, well, like they're both trying to make money. They're both, obviously have their own separate backstories that come to play later on. But man, dude, the first half of the movie, about half, you don't even really have vampires. Like, you don't really know what you're getting because you're so into their story, and it works. Like, there's nothing about it, like the pacing's off, or okay, when are we going to get to the good stuff? It's all fucking good. And then when the vampires do happen, and you have these incredible dance numbers with Remick, the like Irish step dancing out, like Jeremy, you and I talked about that many times over the year, where it's like that scene alone is like could make this the greatest movie of the last couple of years. Like, that was so good. And then to get the little bit extra at the end where it's like you see these vampires have gone through the ages and are just waiting and have made a promise, and there's still that human aspect to them where he misses his brother. Like, it's beautiful, and I love it. I'm super stoked to see what Coogler does after this. I really hope he does another horror movie. Because I think that he can tell a fucking tale.
He said he's open to it. He said he's open to it. So I'd be very intrigued to see what he would do next with that genre.
But he definitely should. So number 2 for me is Sinners.
Very excellent. I particularly did not care for that movie.
What?
It just didn't work for me, man.
Oh my God. It's one of the best movies of the past 20 years. Jesus Christ.
I don't know, man. It didn't work for me. It was too close to so much of the elements of From Dusk Till Dawn that I love.
Way
it just
better
made
movie.
me want to watch.
Way better movie than
From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah, it's way better.
I mean,
I think honestly, I think From Dusk Till Dawn is a well-written movie, but that also takes liberties from like everything else. From Dusk Till Dawn takes liberties from like how many movies before that? I don't know, like every exploitation movie. It's Tarantino, so you yourself like to call out Tarantino for being a ripoff, but yet you're saying that movie's better. I don't know, just saying.
Well,
I think
he didn't come up with the Robert Kurtzman came up with From Dusk Till Dawn, and then Tarantino just wrote the script.
Yeah, well, concepts are, I mean, that's the same concept as Night of the Living Dead or anything else.
What we're trying to say, Jeremy, is you're fucking wrong.
You are wrong. You are wrong. You are wrong.
I get it, I totally get it. I love vampire movies. It's like, that's my shit.
I love
especially
cinema.
Like when you can tell a really original but also scary vampire movie. I feel like that's when you're in the pocket, right? And this movie it didn't have the scare factor or that. I feel like there wasn't enough tension.
I will give you this though. Because and we haven't mentioned this the whole episode, and being serious here, Jeremy didn't have the best year, right? He went through a lot of shit. He didn't see this in theaters. So
no,
you didn't, get a chance.
And, you know, and that's a really great point too, because
I meant to bring this up earlier, but I thought you would have done it on your own.
Yeah.
But, I just wanted to
no, for sure. I was just going with the flow or whatever. But yeah, I know, like, I wasn't in a very great place during a lot of my year. Obviously, I battled cancer this year, and I beat the fuck out of that shit. So fuck yeah for that. But, you know, I was Final Destination, I was dog shit sick watching that movie. You know what I mean? Did that impact how I felt about the movie? Probably. Yeah. I mean, probably for sure. And the same thing with this movie.
So look how canceled we're gonna get. We're gonna get canceled for coming at him for not liking a movie, and he's like, "I watched it when I was doing cancer treatment."
He's been waiting the entire time to drop this. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but like, I was dog shit sick watching
I remember.
Sinners.
Yeah, I remember you telling me.
So was I in the right frame of mind to really immerse myself in that? Probably not. So, you know, that's another one that I'm like, you know what, I should probably rewatch that. Now that I do feel good, and you know, life is
and
back
now
to
that
whatever
you do
the fuck
feel
the
good,
new normal is.
That's why we can harass you now, because if you weren't still feeling good, then we wouldn't be allowed to. But now that you are, I'm like, I can go back and, you know, pinch your ass a little bit and be like,
oh, I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
No, we just honestly, I just wanted to say, this year has been kind of crazy on the show, and we all knew you were gonna break through that shit. We all knew you were gonna fucking beat that shit, and we just did our thing, and we filled the void, and we did as much as we could without you, and we're just glad to have you back in the capacity that you've been back since you have been back, and I know our audience loves it too. So we love you, man. Seriously, means a lot to us.
Thank you.
We love you.
Thank you. I appreciate
it. Still doesn't
and,
excuse Silent Ninja not being on your list. But...
I get it. I get it. I accept your judgment.
Oh man, I set that shit up. I didn't even know I was going there.
My number 2 for the year is a movie that we all agree on. It's Weapons.
Yes.
I've talked about this in our review of Weapons. I did not like Barbarian. I liked the setup of Barbarian. But the film as a whole, when it took the twist that it took in that movie, I fucking hated it, and it was not a movie that I enjoyed very much. So going into Weapons, dude, the marketing for this movie was brilliant, right? Mm-hmm. Like Cloverfield level brilliant, because nobody knew what the fuck this thing was about. We knew very little, but they showed you enough, and they teased enough stuff that it made you want to see this movie, to be like, what the fuck is this? I know it's a horror film. It's got great actors in it, but like, what is this? And even before the movie started, we had no idea about Aunt Gladys. We had no idea that this was like a witch story, right? Spoilers, whatever. I had no idea. It was just like, kids disappear. What's going to happen to them? So I feel like the marketing was just really, really smart, because I wanted to see the movie just to figure out what the fuck it was. And it was so well made, and I don't give a fuck if they make another one of these or not. Aunt Gladys is a fucking horror icon, which I think they did announce something.
Absolutely.
Like, Aunt Gladys is fucking terrifying, nightmare fuel. It's very seldom, you know, in a day and age where every platform is fighting for content and releasing things to have staying power and things to stick. There's so much shit out there these days that it's hard to capture that kind of lightning in a bottle, that something's going to become classic and iconic. And when we do get it, it's so just amazing, because it's like, man, this is one of those things. This is probably how people felt when they saw fucking Freddy Krueger for the first time, right? Aunt Gladys was visual nightmare fuel. So I really loved this movie. I loved how it all played out. I think it was so good. It was filmed so great. It took me from going like, all right, I didn't enjoy Barbarian at all, to seeing this movie. Now I'm like, I can't wait to see what he does next, because this was the shit. It was almost my number 1. It was almost my number 1. But yep, that's where it landed. So there it is.
Great.
And my number 2 is a movie that B-Ratty already mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I had to go back and forth on this numerous times over the past week. Which one is number one?
Yeah.
Which one meant more to me? Which one resonated more with me on a personal level, on an emotional level, blah, 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 fucking blah. And though this one is more original, it had to go at number 2. It's Ryan Coogler's Sinners. I loved this movie. I think that it transcends the genre in more ways than one. It captures a time frame and a place of time that hadn't been really focused on in film before. And yet it captures elements of the vampire movies we've come to love. Much like From Dusk Till Dawn, other movies from other different eras. And it does it perfectly. Because what I love about a movie is, can it be horror, but also about something else? What's more important, the horror or the characters? And this movie is more character focused, more focused about what's going on behind the scenes. And of course, we have Michael B. Jordan doing 2 different performances. And I think they're 2 very different brothers. They sound similar. They're dressed differently, but they have different personalities. Haley Steinfeld, fucking brilliant in the movie. I mean, we have an all-star cast in this movie as well. The music, Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ. I haven't seen music implemented in a movie in this way, and I can't even remember the last time. Especially not a genre movie, where it works so perfectly within every single scene. Cinematography, period piece. I really can't pick overall a better vampire movie the last 20 years. Overall. Only because the vampire element is just secondary to the characters. We open up to these characters, we're introduced to them, we're invested in them, and then we see how we are involved with them as they are invested in this situation with vampires. It's not about the vampires first, it's about the characters. And Coogler is known for being character first. And it was a huge fucking success. Yes, it was around $100 million. I don't know where that all went, though. Maybe the CG, I don't know, whatever they did to have Michael B. Jordan in every scene together. But it made a lot of money, and rightfully so. I saw this shit like twice in IMAX and loved every single second of it. So that's my number 2, is Ryan Coogler's Sinners.
Oh, twins.
Down to the final picks.
I know. I'm sure for you too, it's no surprise what my number 1 is going to be.
What is it?
Silent Night.
Toxic Avenger?
It's just so fucking good.
Oh, okay.
Man, let me start off. It's Zach Kreger's Weapons. I think that this was a perfect film this year. Starting with what Jeremy said about it too, it's, the marketing campaign was phenomenal. Almost, it reminded me of what Neon did with Longlegs the year before, where it's just giving you these like little teasers. Where for Longlegs, remember, it was like a Polaroid photo of a family, right? This one was, your clock is set, and then the clock is going off, and then it's children fucking Naruto running. And as funny as that imagery is to us Nickelodeon kids, like it built such anticipation for it. And I did not like Barbarian when I first saw it, and in recent years, upon more watches, I've come around to it, and I actually do really love it. He has such a great way of storytelling, where he, it's the old, the trick where he shows it in one hand and it's actually in the other hand, right? Like it's the bait and switch.
The classic magician trick. Yeah.
And even though this one doesn't have quite the same one as Barbarian, when you realize that you're getting a witch story, it's incredible. Like, and everything telegraphs it, but I don't know, outside of The Witch from Robert Eggers in 2015, I think, that we've had a really good, solid witch flick. And this one does that.
Love Witch is okay.
Love Witch is good. I forgot that's like 2017. But it introduces Aunt Gladys, who I do think is going to be something, that we said the grabber may not be from Black Phone 2, but Aunt Gladys sure as fuck is going to be something that sticks in your head, and already has Halloween costumes, this past year in just a short amount of time. I think that, like you said, Justin, Josh Brolin gives a performance of his lifetime, or at least second lifetime in his career. I love him so much in most everything he's done. Sicario, I loved him in Outer Range, but I think this is exactly where he really fucking digs in, and he's so menacing as the parent, not in like a horrific way, but as a parent.
Like the gas station scene, for example, when he shows up and he's like, I got a bone to pick with you, and that whole way the whole sequence plays out, it's so very intense. You think he's going to do something, then he ends up saving her. You know, it's...
And then Julia Garner is, I think she's great too. Loved her in Ozark. We also have an episode on this one where you can hear all my thoughts on it. But at the end of the day, when I was thinking of number one, like, this was never a question on my list. When I saw Sinners, I said Sinners is going to be number one. And then I saw Weapons and I said, there's nothing that can top this for me. It's just the perfect film for me this year. And like, I may even fucking watch it today. It's so fucking good.
Yeah. Amazing.
There it is.
So, that's my number one.
Number one. And I have no hate against that because it was in my top three. So I can't complain.
Do you know what my number one is going to be?
Toxic Avenger.
Oh my God. Do you know what my number one's going to be? Anyone?
Hold on. Give me a second. I think your number one is going to be...
Wasn't there a Limp Bizkit documentary or something that came out?
Oh my God. I wish. My number one is Bring Her Back.
Oh.
And
for some reason,
it was... No, it was so difficult, much like what Justin was saying. Like, I kept going teeter-tottering between like the two, between Weapons and Bring Her Back, because both of them blew me away. By God, blew me away.
Blow me away.
Hi, doggy. You're my favorite customer.
A dozen white roses.
Man, this movie to me embodies what made me fall in love with the horror genre. It is, dude, from the very beginning, it just feels like a lack of hope, right? It's just really dark, and these people that are in these really real world situations, right? Like really depressing real world situations. And this is a movie that is unrelenting, much like Talk to Me. Talk to Me made me feel the exact same way. But this is just like lovers do. But this movie, it was unrelenting. It did not give you what you want for these fucking people that are in this awful situation. It just literally, as the movie plays on, it's just turning the fucking knife, right? Like, it hurts to watch this movie because it's heartbreaking. And again, it's like a hopeless thing. And, there was kind of like a witchcraft vibe going on in this as well. And it worked for me so well. And the fact that it ended the way that it ended, I was like, holy, it stayed with me. It stuck with me for fucking days. And it was just, I keep using the word heartbreaking because it really was. It just, you want the best for these characters. You want to take care of both of those siblings, right? You want to take care of the boy and the girl, and to watch the fucked up shit that continually happens to them throughout this movie is horrific. And the filmmakers, like, for them making this go the places that it goes and how dark that it is, we don't get that a lot, because also, a lot of times
it's a very mature viewpoint to have at their age. They're young guys and they have a very mature viewpoint on this material.
They do.
For sure.
They do, man. And like at the end of it, like, if I can be in that headspace for days and I just keep going back to that movie and thinking about all the things that were fucking insane and terrifying, this movie made me feel all of those things. So I genuinely cannot wait to see what these filmmakers do next, because they're 2 for 2 for me right now, right? Ari Aster was that at one point, and then that went a different direction. So I've got real hope for these guys that, they continue on this path of just making original, horrifying horror films where, you're not cutting corners, you're not playing into what the audience may want, you're just telling these unfiltered, horrific horror stories.
Yeah, great pick, man. And even
Great
though
pick.
it landed, lower on my list for me, like,
Lower for you.
I get what you're saying
don't know
about
what
it. Man.
happened
Like,
to
I'm really glad that it works that way, and obviously it worked for a lot of people that way. So great pick.
It makes a difference if you
Juice.
have kids. I think I really do. But I mean,
Oh, dude, that was definitely
yeah,
both movies, Weapons and Bringer Back.
yeah.
Having young kids, man, that definitely added a layer to me personally.
It adds
watching these movies.
And added danger to the to the climate of the theme and all that. But my number one, I think we all know what it is. It finds the humanity in one of cinema's most iconic monsters, Guillermo del Toro's movie where he finally got a chance to make the movie that he had been waiting his whole life to make. And it's an easy pick. It really is, but it captured everything that I love about cinema. The best cinematography, the best score, the best performances. And I liked Nosferatu. I really did. I liked what Robert Eggers did with that. But this is the movie that I was actually hoping that it kind of would be, where it took me somewhere else entirely, so deeply in a dark place, and also making me find an emotional connection with my own past in terms of being abandoned or, people that grew up without their own real father. I mean, Brady, you could probably relate to this in some extent, depending on, you've got 5 dads, 5 or 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 dads.
None of them were there.
All those dick swinging dads.
All those dick swinging dads.
And then you got another one, but mine's not. I try to swing it, but
it's got some sway.
I think this is just when you have a lead up to an iconic Oscar-winning filmmaker finally making the movie that he's waited his whole life to make, and he does it so perfectly, making it accurate to the source material, but also really giving his own stamp and doing something different with it. And as you said earlier on, B-Ratty, taking an actor like Jacob Elordi, when Spider-Man himself, Andrew Garfield, was supposed to play the monster, or AKA the creature in this case, who's one of my favorite actors. I was super excited about that. And then when he dropped out and I had seen Saltburn, I was like, I don't know about this. But I think it works even better in retrospect. And I've seen this movie, I think, 4 or 5 times now. Just watching it at home late at night while my wife's sleeping. And I just throw it on because I'm immediately invested in it. It's a world that I can't go to anywhere else, right? I can't experience this any other place but here. And it reminds me of why I love Tim Burton's movies, that Del Toro just really grabs you and pulls you into his version of the world that he wants to have you invested in. The cinematography, the production design in this movie, and the actual practical sets. If anyone hasn't watched this yet, Netflix has, I think last I saw, it was still up, a 45-minute behind-the-scenes featurette that you could watch. Nice. And it goes into all of the amazing full sets that were built for this. And I know people have criticized Del Toro to be like, well, you wanted to make this practical movie and you say fuck AI and all these things, which I agree with. And he decided to make it with Netflix. Well, he had a contract with them. And they're going to give him, physical release of the movie. Pinocchio got a physical release. It is a shame that the movie did not get a wider theatrical release around Halloween. It would have done even bigger. It made almost $500 million on a $120 million budget, but overall, it's just a movie that I love my monsters, and I love the tragic tale of the creature here and how relatable it was to me being a goth kid in my teens. It's the movie I think I've been waiting for my whole life. So there's just something that really, really connected with me. There it is. That's my number one. It's Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. Guys, do we have any honorable mentions we want to mention before we wrap up the show?
They've already been mentioned. Like, Together was one for me that I still enjoyed, but just didn't make it onto the list. I also think The Long Walk was really good, but for me, it kind of came down with the same with Begonia, where I didn't know for me. It didn't hit so much as horror, as more of like a coming of age.
If you worded it the right way, if you really, I mean, I get Jeremy's reasoning for including it. I thought about it myself, but yeah.
And then I mean, those are pretty much it. I saw Bone Lake earlier this week, and for most of the movie, it's a pretty solid erotic thriller / horror. So I got to throw that one out there too, because it does some things and has some really good cinematography that's good. So those are mine. Yeah. I don't know about you, Jerry. You got any honorable mentions?
Yeah. There's definitely some movies that I would have anticipated would have been maybe higher in it, but I mean, I like shit movies too, so I really enjoyed VHS Halloween. I thought
that was pretty good. Yeah,
that was a pretty fun one. Companion was just a stellar, entertaining movie. You know, it was never gonna make it in my top of list, but it was entertaining and kind of was
I
a
love
fun
that
little
one.
ride.
That's on my list too. My honorable mentions.
But that's really it for my honorable mentions. I think outside of like non-genre stuff like Warfare, like that movie was fucking terrifying, like real world terrifying. But yeah, I mean that's kind of honorable mentions that I would say. I know Together was pretty great as well. So,
ladies and gentlemen, I think that's it for our top 10 horror movies of 2025. Is it a better year than 2024? Is it a better year than 2023? You fucking tell me.
Sure.
Oh, no one's asking me.
Sorry, I just did.
I didn't. I said, ladies and gentlemen. Are you a gentleman?
And a scholar.
That's fair.
I guess.
Well, I mean,
right.
He is that. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll give him that.
All right. Well,
he went to schools.
But that's it for this episode. If this is your first time listening, seriously, thanks for checking us out, and all our long-term listeners that always tune in for this episode specifically. We love you so much. Thanks for listening to this overly long episode. This is probably the longest episode we've had all year long, but honestly, we felt like we didn't want to skimp on anything. We wanted to give you the whole enchilada, and here it is. So hope you enjoyed listening.
Those damn enchiladas.
Yeah, well, you're going to be shitting them out later as you're listening to this. Also, make sure if you're seeing this on social media, comment. Let us know what you thought were the best movies in terms of the season of horror of 2025 and what your picks were. And we're also available every single place where you can find your podcast, and, of course, at Epic Film Guys on social media, literally everywhere. So I'm pretty positive, unless we get our asses on the seats again and we bust our asses and we throw down quicker, this is our last episode of 2025. So I don't know about you guys, but I thought overall we've had a great year for the show, and I for one am thankful that we're still doing this thing. We're still doing it together. Jeremy's back again. Loisauce got to fill in a lot, and he did a lot of great shit for us as well. B-Ratty, you carried the weight on your back as well. So it's like we were able to manage with everything this year, with all the screenings and Jeremy's health issues and stuff. And we're still here and we're not going anywhere. So I'm just, that's one thing I can say going into the new year. I'm like, you ain't stopping us yet, man. We may be getting old as fuck, but we ain't going nowhere.
Yeah. And I can say,
Adrian,
going into the year,
I did it.
I'm glad it's us, man. I'm glad it's the three of us. And I mean, going back to that fucking trip to see Arnold Schwarzenegger, where I didn't even fucking know Justin was coming with us. But hey, man, Jeremy, I'm so happy that you're back and healthy.
Thanks, man.
Glad that we're going into this year on a high note. So I mean, 2026 is going to be our fucking bitch.
As long as we get enough good movies to talk about. But if not, we'll just watch them and give them our fair.
Talk about them.
Yeah. What else?
Let's give them something to talk about.
But as always,
love.
I'm Justin.
I'm Jeremy.
I'm B-Ratty.
And as always, we'd like to ask you to keep it